back to Pepsi Tailgate Central. I'm Ray Castillo, and today I have with me Lewis Bradshaw and Robbie Brown. And when it comes to the Lone Star Conference, you can count on these two gentlemen to give you the information that you need. When we come back from a quick break, we're going to talk about the scores around the Lone Star Conference, and we're also going to touch on the last time we talked when the A&M Kingsville took on Colorado Mesa and the ride it's been since then.
Every week, Lone Star Conference football is its own saga.
Are you the hunter or the hunted?
The bug or the windshield?
Don't slip up.
You can't take a week off.
We play 7 regular season games.
But that's just the beginning.
In November, the conference playoffs will settle the score.
You want to be the champion?
Prove it.
Who will be the last team standing?
Conference playoffs. We're the one.
Welcome back to Pepsi Tailgate Central. I'm Ray Castillo. I have Robbie Brown and Lewis Bradshaw by my side here. And first, we're gonna before we talk about the Lone Star Conference today, we're gonna go around and talk about the scores from a week ago. We have Midwestern State coming off a win against Tarleton, 27-23. A&M Commerce with the win against Eastern New Mexico, who the Javelinas will play today, by the way. They won 48-32. West Texas with the win over Angelo State, 58-41, and McMurray with the win against our Javelinas a week ago, 27-21. With that being said, guys, the last time we met, we talked about the Colorado Mesa Mavericks and what the Javelinas needed to do to get that win, which they did. So I'll start with you, Robbie. What were some things that you liked in that game, since for the Javelinas, their last win that they got?
Well, if I remember correctly, I said we needed to rush for 250 yards and not turn the ball over a whole lot. I think we had 226. And didn't turn the ball over, didn't make a whole lot of mistakes, and that led to a narrow win. It was a hard-fought win, but a win nonetheless.
That's right. And Lewis, what was your take from that game against CMU?
Pretty much that. It was one that I thought we would probably win, and pretty much what Robbie just said. What about you? Want to know about tonight?
Well, before we get into that, I did want to talk to you guys. It's been a few weeks since that win, and that last time we talked, the Javelinas have kind of been on a slide since then, and with some struggles against A&M Commerce, who, when we made the trip to Arlington, they dominated us pretty well. What was your take from that game that the Javelinas did that made everything just go downhill?
Well, what I would like to see and what I'm going to be watching for tonight is our offense being able to stay on the field longer, because our defense have looked good in a number of the games we've played so far, but in the second half they tend to come out and they're out of gas. And that's because the offense isn't on the field long enough. So I think that's a major factor we're not having a flood here tonight. And so maybe our special teams, both teams, if I recall, had a lot of problems hanging on the punts. And so we need special teams play to show up. And Eastern New Mexico is Eastern New Mexico.
That's right. And Robbie, what about your take from that A&M Commerce game a couple weeks ago?
Well, A&M Commerce has got a better team than we do this year, and field position, we kept turning the ball over. We had poor punting. They had a short field to work with all night long. And offensively, when we did get a few things going, then we'd have a penalty here, penalty there, and then the drive was over. We weren't able to sustain. And against a team like Commerce, you can't afford to do that and keep it close.
That's right, guys. And before we go into break, I want to ask you guys real quick about McMurray, a team that most Javelina fans thought we would come up with a win against. It didn't turn out that way. What was your take from that game, Lewis?
I wish I had an answer to that game. We should have beaten McMurray. I agree with Robbie. In the case of Commerce, they probably will win the Lone Star Conference and hopefully get the playoffs. McMurray, they came in here wanting to show what they could do. Their last appearance with us is in our conference.
And what about you, Robbie?
Well, again, turnovers. 2 interceptions led to 2 McMurray touchdowns. Had a fake on special teams that they turned into a touchdown later on that same drive. And, we just didn't get the stops when we needed to, made too many mistakes, and another, close loss against a team that we should have beat.
That's right, and when we come back, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back to Pepsi Tailgate Central, we're going to talk about the impressive record that the Javelinas have against Eastern New Mexico, and we're also going to talk about the quarterback position and Javelina defense as well. We'll be right back on Pepsi Tailgate Central.
Every week, Lone Star Conference football is its own saga.
Are you the hunter or the hunted?
The bug or the windshield?
Don't slip up. You can't take a week off.
We play 7 regular season games.
But that's just the beginning.
In November, the conference playoffs will settle the score.
You want to be the champion?
Prove it.
Who will be the last team standing?
Conference playoffs. We're the one.
Blender, para los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance para los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month. Silverware, para los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance para los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month.
Hi, I'm Kristen Walters, and I'm a student athlete at Eastern New Mexico University. I'm standing with some other great athletes from the Lone Star Conference, and we're talking about respect. When you're at our games, we encourage enthusiastic support of your team, but we also ask that you support the entire conference by treating all fans, officials, coaches, and student athletes with respect. We're all in this together, the Lone Star Conference. We're the one.
Welcome back to Pepsi Tailgate Central. I'm Ray Castillo, and I have Robbie Brown and Lewis Bradshaw by my side here. And before we went to break, we talked about A&M's struggles a few weeks ago after their win with the Colorado Mesa Mavericks. And it's been 0-2 since then, and before they go tonight against Eastern New Mexico. Now, some things I want to talk about, and I'll start with you, Lewis. There's an impressive scenario that we have here right before our eyes. A&M Kingsville is undefeated here at home against Eastern New Mexico. Just talk a little bit about that and why that gives the Javelinas the advantage tonight.
That's right. 29 years, I believe, we've played them, and they've never won in Javelina Stadium. So that's about 15 losses, 14 maybe, whatever. And that should give us some incentive to continue that. Now, of course, they probably have the same will to try to beat us for the first time in history too. So here, hopefully that's some mojo that'll be with us tonight.
That's right. Another thing to note is A&M Kingsville is 9-5 in Blackwater in New Mexico as well. So Javelinas with the winning record against the team that they're playing tonight. Now, Robbie, just like I asked Lewis, what is your take on that sensational record that the Javelinas post against EMU?
Well, our guys are going to want to protect that record. I'm sure they're aware of it. But on the flip side, I'm sure the Greyhounds are as well. They're the defending conference co-champions. They're 0-2 in conference, and they'd love nothing more than to break that streak here tonight. So we're going to have to be focused and play error-free football to keep that from happening.
That's right, guys. Now let's go back to the Javelinas' point of things. Now, I want to talk to you, Lewis, about the quarterback position. That's something that the Javelinas have dealt with this season. And, according to Coach Callaway, Alex Rios was the starter, but according to the Corpus Christi Caller-Times, I believe Sebastian Taylor is now getting the call today. So despite who's throwing the ball under center for A&M Kingsville, what are the issues that A&M has dealt with this season at the quarterback position, and is Rios and Taylor the answer for them?
Well, Rios and Taylor, I believe, are both sophomores, so they're not they're not experienced quarterbacks. Rios came in, as most of us remember, on the Commerce game and drove it down for a final score and looked phenomenal doing it. They've had their struggles. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them both get used tonight. I mean, I don't have inside information to that effect, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Taylor and Rios both. It's been a struggle. That's been our struggle point, one of them this year.
That's right. And Robbie, what is your take on the quarterback position?
Well, regardless who it is, we're not going to be throwing the ball for 400 yards tonight.
No.
Whoever's back there is going to have to, make good reads on the zone reads, get the ball to the running back when they need to, keep it when they need to, and just not fumble and don't throw interceptions when we do pass.
And I might add too that in the past they've been averaging about 475 yards of offense. On the other hand, they like to stuff the box with about 7 people, and if that happens, then what that says to me is pass against us, bring your pass. Well, we'll see how that works out. That's what I'm going to be watching for too. Is are they on the 7 or 8 man front? And if they do, then I think they look at us probably as our strength being our running game. And we'll see.
Yeah, that's one of the things the Kings are going to have to do tonight is try to get the ball through the air with their impressive defense that they post. Now, real quick, Robbie, before we go to our last break, I want to ask you just real quick, the Javelinas defense has been very impressive. So just tell us real quick, is that something that you can see getting even better throughout the year? They've given up a lot of runs, but despite that, it seems that the first half is their defense is really clicking.
Well, the offensive special teams have not given good field position, and so we're giving up quite a few points, but not a whole lot of yards. Defense, if they can get better field position and get a few stops in and keep rested up, I do think we'll see improvement through the year.
Well, we're going to take our last break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about our picks for today's game, and these guys are going to tell us their predictions of what the score will be as well. You're watching the Pepsi Tailgate Central.
Hunter or the hunted?
The bug or the windshield.
Don't slip up. You can't take a week off.
We play 7 regular season games.
But that's just the beginning.
In November, the conference playoffs will settle the score.
You want to be the champion?
Prove it.
Who will be the last team standing?
Conference playoffs. We're the one. Every week, Lone Star Conference football is its own saga.
Are you the hunter or the hunted?
Windshield.
Don't slip up.
Every week, Lone Star Conference football is its own saga.
Are you the hunter or the hunted?
The bug or the windshield.
Don't slip up. You can't take a week off.
We play 7 regular season games.
But that's just the beginning.
In November, the conference playoffs will settle the score.
You want to be the champion?
Prove it.
Who will be the last team standing?
Conference playoffs. We're the one.
Blender, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month. Silverware, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month.
Hi, I'm Kristen Walters, and I'm a student athlete at Eastern New Mexico University. I'm standing with some other great athletes from the Lone Star Conference, and we're talking about respect. When you're at our games, we encourage enthusiastic support of your team, but we also ask that you support the entire conference by treating all fans, officials, coaches, and student athletes with respect. We're all in this together, the Lone Star Conference. We're the one.
Welcome back
Every
to Pepsi
week.
Tailgate Central. Now, before we go, it's time to have our picks for tonight's game. Lewis, I'll start with you. What is going to be the final score for tonight's game, and what does A&M Kingsville need to do to get that win?
I think that the fact that we're playing in Javelina Stadium, where they've never beaten us, the situation, as it is, I'm gonna go with the Javelinas. A score of 28-21.
All right, Robbie, and who's going to win tonight, and what's the score going to be?
I'll take Javelinas as well, 28-24, and I'll say that we do hit on a long pass as they put 8 in the box, and we'll surprise them. We'll actually hit a long pass, and that'll be the difference in the game.
All right, sounds good. You guys have been watching the Pepsi Tailgate Central. For Robbie Brown and Lewis Bradshaw, I'm Ray Castillo, and stick around at 3:30 for Sydney's Tailgate.
Texas A&M University Kingsville thanks you for watching this special presentation of student-directed and produced media by the Javelina Broadcast Network.